Hello everybody, my name is Jared and today I'm going to be working on part 2 of my worklog for Dabi from Boku no Hero Academia. In this worklog we're going to be making the actual jacket itself. We already drafted the pattern in the previous worklog, so it's just going to be constructing the actual jacket and adding the armour sections that go on this part of the arm. So let's go.
Now first of all, what we're going to do is we're going to take our paper pattern and our fabric that we're going to be using for this actual costume itself, as well as the lining fabric. We're going to fold our main fabric and our lining fabric in half, and we're going to cut the patterns out once over that folded fabric, so you will end up with two reversed pieces of the fabric. And you're going to repeat that for the lining as well. So after that, you will have 2 copies of your main fabric cut out and 2 copies of your lining fabric cut out. Then you're going to take your back parts of the top part of the jacket panel and you're going to pin together the darts that we've put into the actual pattern itself in part 1. Once you've pinned those together, you're going to pin the back spine together as well. So you will have the 2 back pieces joined together in the middle and those darts taken in, so they will channel that fabric into a little thinner shape. Then we're going to iron stiffener into the collar. Now I took an iron-on stiffener for this, but you can use a sew-on one as well. I just find iron-on stiffeners a little bit easier to work with. And this is just going to mean that the collar will hold its shape without you having to put wiring or anything like that into it. Then you're going to pin the collar pieces together in the middle, so thinnest parts together, and you're going to repeat that with both the lining fabric and the main body fabric. Then you're going to pin the middle back part of the skirt part of the jacket all the way down, so you'll end up with the entire back part as like a little skirt. Then you're going to sew all of the parts you've pinned together, and you're going to hem them by folding these seams open and sewing them open. So you're going to sew on one side and then sew on the other side. It is always best to, when you're doing this, to press them with an iron as well. I did do this, but you won't actually see it on camera. This gives you a really crisp seam, and it looks a little bit more professional when it's finished. Then pin the side darts on the skirt together, so the skirt is what I'm going to use to refer to the bottom part of the jacket. So you've just pinned together those darts that we put in the first part. Then we're going to pin the side top panels into the back top under the armholes and pin along the shoulder seam as well. So you're going to pin all that side that's going to go down your side, and then you're going to pin those shoulder seams. Finally, pin the sleeves together at both sides, so you're basically making a tube of fabric. And again, sew all of those pinned pieces together and hem them. Then pin the side seam of the skirt into the back seam of the skirt. So you're going to have those side panels joining the back panels, and you've basically made the bottom part of the jacket separate from the top part of the jacket. And then pin the collar onto the body of the jacket. Sew and hem these pinned seams together. And then pin the top part of the jacket into the bottom part of the jacket. You're going to sew and hem these seams together. And then we're finally going to pin the sleeves into the jacket. For this, it does take a little bit of trial and error, and I do recommend when you're pinning it, just moving the fabric around, shuffling it into place, and using as many pins as possible to hold it exactly where you want to put it. That is the best way to get the seams to really line up, because sleeves can be notoriously hard to get correct into a jacket. Then you're finally going to sew and hem those. I do recommend, when you're actually hemming this one though, only folding them up into the shoulder, so you're actually going to only have one seam, and that seam is just going to be on top of the shoulders. Then you're going to repeat all of that with the lining. You should now have two basically finished jackets, one in lining and one in the main fabric. What you're going to do then is you're going to put them nice sides together, so the really pretty sides that are all finished and hemmed are on the inside. You're going to put them together, so you're making a little sandwich with the pretty side on the inside. Then you're going to pin all around that outer seam, so all along the collar, all along the front of the jacket, and all along the bottom of the jacket. You're not going to pin the sleeves together. Then you will sew all around those pins. And then finally turn the jacket inside out, and you should be left with a lined jacket that's not hemmed and the sleeves are not joined in. I do recommend at this stage pressing the entire thing so you get a really crisp edge all the way along, and then you sew along all of those edges to hold that crisp edge in place. It might be a little bit hard to explain, but basically you're just wanting to have that really clean edge with a sewn line all the way around the outside layer of the jacket. Then you're going to fold the inside of the sleeves in on themselves so you can't see that rough edge anymore. And you're just going to sew around that hem as well. I recommend using a 1 cm fold inside and then just sewing the edges. And then you have the jacket itself finished, and now what I'm going to do is do the detailing on the jacket and the armour. For the detailing, I took a silvery grey embroidery thread and a embroidery needle, and I threaded those up. Then I sewed a thick line going back and forth, so you have almost a very tight zigzag, and that line I took from the start of the collar all the way down over the lower part of the shoulder, and you're just going to take that up back over the shoulder, down partway down the back to the same way down as the front, so the same distance down the back as you did went down the front. It's quite hard to explain. Then you're going to swoop across the back, repeat that on the opposite side, and you'll have finished that loop. Then you're going to go across all of those lines again, sewing a cross stitch across it. So you're just going to do one line going across and then make a little jump, and then one line, so you've got that stitch effect that goes across the jacket. Then for the pattern part of the armour, you're just going to take a piece of normal construction paper, and you're going to draw out a pattern. And that pattern is going to be 1 inch by the width of the thickest part of your arm. This has to be the thickest part of your arm, not necessarily the actual part of the arm it's going to sit on, because it's going to have to be able to get up your arm. And you're going to take that pattern and make it a rectangle. So you're going to go 1 inch down, all the way across the thickness of your arm, 1 inch up, and then back the thickness of your arm. Then you're going to make 3 boxes that are 1 inch by 1 inch, and attach them to the pattern in the middle with little gaps in between. So it will look almost like a little tiara in the middle. And then you're going to make another pattern which is exactly the same but without those 3 boxes. And with that you're going to take a craft foam. I recommend a 0.5 centimeter thickness, and you're going to cut 2 of the top pattern, so 2 of the first pattern and 2 of the second pattern. Once those are all cut out, you're then going to fold them round into little rings and use super glue to attach them in place. You'll finally then cover them entirely with Mod Podge. Now Mod Podge is actually a glue that's often used for priming things. It's very smooth and it's got a really nice clear finish. And you're going to do that 3 times. And then you spray the entire thing over once with plaster dip. This isn't 100% necessary, but it gives it a black base, and that's a lot easier to give the metallic finish on later. Then, after 24 hours when that's dried, you will paint the entire thing silver. And though I haven't actually done it in this video, you will also then weather it with black paint. I did do this stage but completely forgot to film. Now with weathering, all you're going to do is you're going to get a quite watery black paint, cover the entire thing with it as quickly as possible, and then rub it off with a tissue. So just getting any normal tissue, wipe most of it off, and you will be left with a considerably more old looking finish. Finally, once that's finished, you're going to use super glue to attach that to the jacket. There you are, that's all done. The jacket is complete. I could not be more happy with how Dabi came out. Now if you do use this tutorial to make your own Dabi jacket, I would absolutely love to see it.
And that's a wrap for my Dabi work log. Thank you so much for watching this one. It's actually been really fun to work on this jacket, and it's kind of reminded me of why I used to enjoy doing pattern drafting so much. So thank you very much for watching, thank you for following this along with me, and if you have any questions, always remember to put them in the comment section below. Thank you very much, and as always, please remember to be creepy.